next for Professor Kithure Kindiki after he was humiliated and removed as the Deputy Speaker of the Senate? What next? That's the question which most Kenyans are currently asking. And if you ask me, Professor Kithure Kindiki is probably one of the most educated senators we have in this country today. And is also one of the most lucky politicians and unlucky politicians at the same time I've ever seen. Why am I saying Professor Kithure Kindiki is a lucky politician? Let's go back a bit to 2010, 11, 12. During that time, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Samoei Ruto were facing the ICC charges. Then the deputy president William Ruto reached out to Professor Kithure Kindiki to defend him at The Hague. And he did that successfully. So by the time Kenyans were going for an election in 2013, Professor Kithure Kindiki had established and entrenched himself deeply into Jubilee politics. So he easily managed to win the Tharaka Nithi senatorial seat. And once he was sworn in as a senator, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Samoei Ruto decided to appoint him or to name him as the Senate Majority Leader. He was just a first-term senator. He had not been elected anywhere. So he defeated, or the president prevailed upon, seasoned politicians like Kiraiti Murungi and Mutahi Kagwe. So that's how he managed to rise so fast. And by virtue of being the majority leader, Professor Kithure Kindiki was effectively amongst the top politicians. The top in the ranking in this country. After President Uhuru Kenyatta, the deputy president, then you can talk politically, you can talk of the Speaker of the Senate, or if you want, you can also talk of the Speaker of the National Assembly. Then the next guy behind them was Professor Kithure Kindiki. So he was almost close to power. And during that time, there were talks that he was going to be the deputy president, William Ruto's running mate in 2022. And when elections came in 2017, Professor Kithure Kindiki successfully managed to defend his seat. And this time, he was not as lucky. But he managed to be elected as the Deputy Speaker of the Senate. That's also another very powerful seat in our parliament. But now, he was kicked out as the Deputy Speaker. So it means this guy is very unlucky. Also, he was lucky and also very lucky. Because remember, he was elected the first time. He was a deputy majority. He was actually the majority leader. Then the second term, not the majority leader, but he came down. And before he knew, he's now just an ordinary senator. And look at the way the professor was removed. Compare to what happened to Kipchumba Murkomen and Susan Kihika. Susan Kihika and Kipchumba Murkomen, at least it's the president who fired them. But there were discussions about the numbers. That probably the presidency forced the numbers on Kenyans, on the senators. That 20 senators did not sign, or the threshold was not met. At least for Kipchumba Murkomen and Susan Kihika, they were able to discuss that. But for Professor Kithure Kindiki, it was an overwhelming defeat. Out of the 67 senators, only 7 supported him. Only 7. And if you look at those 7, 1 was actually his personal vote. So we are remaining with 6 senators. And if you go further and study those 6 senators, all of them were coming from Rift Valley. But again, you can go further and claim that those are self-confessed supporters of the deputy president William Samoei Ruto. Which means if the Ruto factor was not even there, then probably even these 7, some of them would have left. So he's also a very unlucky politician in this country. But what next for Professor Kithure Kindiki? Today, I want us to look at what are the options, what he can do after what happened to him. And I want to be very brief. I'll go straight to the points. Point number one, I strongly believe that Professor Kithure Kindiki can decide to take on President Uhuru Kenyatta. And not tomorrow or any other day. It is today. Let's agree. If the people of Mount Kenya region are rebelling against President Uhuru Kenyatta and are unhappy with the removal of Professor Kithure Kindiki as the majority leader, as the deputy speaker, then he must use that opportunity to gain sympathy and actually take charge of President Uhuru Kenyatta's succession politics in the larger Mount Kenya region. Why am I saying this? In the larger Mount Kenya region, there are people who want to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. And amongst them, there is Moses Kuria, there is Kiraitu Murungi, there's Peter Munya, there is Anne Waiguru, who is the favorite. Then there is now, who else? Those three. And now let's add Professor Kithure Kindiki. Kithure has an advantage. He doesn't come from the Kikuyu community. So he can use this to his advantage and advance the narrative of Meru versus Kikuyus. Because he can actually advance that because Merus have actually supported Kikuyus for a long time. So it's now the time for the Kikuyus to support one of their own. And if indeed they are supporting him because he was fired, then this is the time. He can use this opportunity, in my view, to fight President Uhuru Kenyatta and emerge as a front runner in Uhuru Kenyatta's succession politics. But this is only going to depend on the ground. Are Central Kenya or are Mount Kenya region ready to divorce President Uhuru Kenyatta? Is it the real numbers being flashed on us ama ni ile fake kama zile za senators? So if the numbers are real, in politics you don't take chances. Chances only comes one. So chance for Kithure Kindiki to run away with President Uhuru Kenyatta's succession politics without his support is right now. Right now, he doesn't have anything to lose. The president did not support him. He's not going to defend anything at the Senate so that you can say, okay, the speaker or the majority, he's free man. So this is the time for him. Number two, I also believe that Professor Kithure Kindiki has been actually drifting after the betrayal where he was not appointed when he was not appointed the majority leader. He has actually been drifting from national politics to local politics. I mean, he's going to run for the governor of Tharaka Nithi. So he can focus on that because let's face it, politics is local. National politics was not for him. This is a well-educated guy, was kicked out as a majority leader and someone else appointed, again has been kicked out as the deputy speaker and someone else appointed. So it means he can't survive at the national level. So the best thing for him is to go back to the ground and convince the Tharaka Nithi people that I'm the only hope you have. But for me to succeed, I need your votes to elect me as a governor. So he can decide to now start focusing on the gubernatorial seat. This one, in my view, is one of the best options for him. Because at the national level, no impact. He's not an orator. He's not inspiring. Kindiki is not, there are those kind of politicians who inspire. When they speak, you want to listen. This is a guy without a platform of the deputy speaker. Even if he will be given, where will he get the platform? He won't impress Kenyans. So he should go and focus on his gubernatorial seat in Tharaka Nithi. Number three, I think this guy also has the option of standing for something. Standing for something means sticking with the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. Remember, this guy was a lecturer at the University of Nairobi. He was picked from there, went to the ICC. I'm sure if there's anything this guy has made in terms of money in life, then most of those were either made from the money he got from ICC or from the money he got while serving as the majority leader. I've even seen yesterday, senators visited him, and I was very interested in the kind of a house he has. If you look at the house he has, which they tried so much not to show, because of course, if they showed it to us, then the narrative of hustler was going to be interfered with a bit. But if you look at the house which he has, which was part of which was visible, it's clear that that house is not an old house. It's a new house. So basically, there's nothing this guy can lose. He's not corrupt. He doesn't have so many scandals. Just a few when people can just decide to follow up. But the fact is, he can decide to stick with the DP because there's nothing he's going to lose. There's nothing he's going to lose. He had only the option of disowning the DP and not resigning. He has already waited and it's already been kicked out. He's outside there. The DP is outside there. So the best thing for him, in my view, is to stick with the DP. But that also will depend with politics, because just as I said, politics is local. So if it's true the Meru people are with the DP, then he must stick with the DP so that he can endure himself to the supporters of the DP in that region. But if the DP is not or will not be the determining factor, then he must think that strategy. Number 4 is, I think, what most people actually told him, to reach out to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Politics is local. Personally, I can't rule out President Uhuru Kenyatta and his influence in 2022. I watched how Mwai Kibaki used the state power to do whatever he wanted. So Uhuru Kenyatta currently has the state power. The best thing Professor Kindiki Kithure can do is to reach out to Uhuru Kenyatta, resolve their issues. Once they resolve their issues, things can come back to normal. Because there's no way he can survive without either sticking with Ruto or without reaching to President Uhuru Kenyatta. So in my view, he must reach out to President Uhuru Kenyatta. And lastly, I think it's also important that this guy can now use this opportunity to take on the president. He's known to be a shy guy. A man who doesn't want controversies. But in politics, some certain elements are always very important. One of them is you must take advantage of situations which present themselves. Uhuru Kenyatta, if indeed is not popular in central Kenya, this guy must take that opportunity. And by taking that opportunity, it means he has to face the president. Call out the president. Tell the president, whatever you did to me, despite helping you, was not right. But again, in my view, that might not be the right thing, because internet, don't forget, what you say today might come to haunt you in the next few days, just like the professor is being haunted by this statement he made several years back.
There's a reason why people choose political parties. People choose political parties because they believe in the ideals of that political party. So what we are seeing in today is not interesting. There's no way somebody can openly defy the head of state or the deputy head of state on whose ticket they were elected and still continue to enjoy the privileges of our political support.
So in my view, those are the options he can do moving forward. I don't know what you think. And if you have a different idea, please let me know in the comments section or by liking the videos. And just like I keep on saying, the best way, if you want to help this channel, I know a lot of guys are asking how they can be help to the channel. The basic way of helping this channel is just by liking the video. So like the video if you like it. If you don't like it, just give it a thumbs down. But the best one is just to drop your comments. What do you think Professor Kithure Kindiki can do in the next few days? Let me know in the comment section. Because I know for sure after this guy is going to be abandoned by friends. Friends are always there, are always attracted to people because of the kind of money they have. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day.